Liz Cheney.
So Liz Cheney has said that if Donald Trump is the Republican candidate for the next presidential candidacy, she will not be a Republican anymore, and has pledged, if needed, she will campaign on behalf of a Democrat if it ensures that Mr. Donald Trump is not the president. What say you, Jay?
It's a step in the right direction. I agree. I
For
understand
who?
you disagree with
For
Liz
who?
Cheney. It's a
Step in the right direction for who?
I appreciate that Liz Cheney is being principled on this issue. So I think it's a step in the right direction for her. It is disgusting to me that because she was principled and she, look at her conservative record. She actually voted with Donald Trump 95% of the time. Like, she's a bona fide card carrying conservative,
Mm-hmm.
However, for some reason, because she didn't kiss Trump's ass enough, the Republicans in her state or in her district decided, you're insufficiently MAGA. We are getting rid of you. And so it's shitty that she's in this current situation. I also don't think she should be lionized the way that Democrats are lionizing her, because she happens to be the one person. Her and Kissinger are the two people that actually happen to have some principles. What say you?
I concur. I won't vote for her. I appreciate her, one, as a female, two, having the integrity to stand against the party she has served diligently under her father, Dick Cheney, for years. I respect her level of commitment and her integrity to what she interprets as her country and the Constitution as she sees it. My hat will always come off to her for that. Would I support her being president of the United States? I would say the person who's supposed to be president of the United States, from my perspective, should be somebody who has an understanding of the country's view as a whole, and regardless of their personal feelings about how some of the country feels about certain issues, they're able to represent those people without a bias, regardless of their own political or religious views. I'm not sure if she's able to do that. If I see evidence that demonstrates that she can, then she would be a candidate to be considered. However, can we rule out the fact that her father, Dick Cheney, was one of the architects of the dissolution of what's happened in the Middle East, and everything that came from that? I don't think that should be disregarded.
Let's be honest. The Iraq War, everything that has happened in destabilizing the Middle East ever since then, giving away no bid contracts to, Halliburton, the company that this guy used to be an executive for. Are you kidding me? This guy was Lucifer.
Would you vote for her?
For president? No. Maybe she was vice president, and she was matched by a center leftist, somebody who balanced her out. I do think a lot of Americans might support a joint ticket of two moderates. But here's the thing. Liz Cheney isn't actually a moderate. She, like I said, she voted with Trump 95% of the time. And she's also not just a conservative. She's an evangelical conservative, which I can't get. I prefer, if you're going to be right wing, be a libertarian, right? Instead of be, an evangelical. Evangelicals basically want a theocracy.
Right. They want a Christian version of Sharia law.
Thank you.
Women are second class. Men dominate their position. God and country are not separate things. I don't understand how those people can overlap that with what the Constitution says if what their foundation or one of the tenets of their foundation is founded in the Constitution. I'm not sure how they make sense of that.
These people are the same people who want to deify the founders and framers of the Constitution, like these people were, are above reproach and everything. Don't you realize these people made fun of Christians? Look at Thomas Jefferson's letters. Look at, James Madison's letters. Look at Adams' letters. These people all wrote in plain English. They made fun of Christians. These people were Masons and they were deists, and they thought Christianity was a joke. They wanted to codify a separation of church and state, which was the entire purpose of the First Amendment. Yes, freedom of speech. That's the first part everybody keeps talking about. Did you ever read the second part? It's right there. The second part of the First Amendment is Congress shall make no law with the respect of establishing an official religion of the state. That's a separation of church and state. Do we need to wake up Thomas Jefferson out of his grave to come back here and explain that to y'all?
We're not teaching this in schools. That's the problem.
It's not like they wrote in hieroglyphs and this is up for interpretation about what they meant. They wrote in plain English. Their letters are preserved in the Smithsonian. You can Google it.
With the pushback of history being taught in the classrooms, kids don't even know who shot Kennedy. You think they know anything about Jefferson and the founding of the nation? Next topic is sports. What say you? Where do we begin?
Sports and politics. Sports and politics. It is very interesting. The American experience is so unique in the sense that our sports and politics mix so much because so many Black folks get into sports, and because of the African American experience, those Black folks, whether they deserve to or not, whether they should be a spokesperson or not, are forced into the spotlight to speak out on politics. We've always mixed sports and politics here. I can think of a more artful way of saying that if I write it out, but you get my drift. For the longest time, sports and politics have mixed partially because of the African American struggle here. Herschel Walker is not Muhammad Ali, is not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is not Jackie Robinson, is not Jim Brown, is not any of these notable athletes that took a stand and helped advance America through the African American struggle. Herschel Walker is the antithesis of all of that, and he is running for senator, and for some godforsaken reason, he's winning right now, according to the polls in Georgia.
Shameful. There is nothing else I have to say on that.
I will just say this last thing, and I'll shut up.
Please.
He is a blatant liar, and he has gone on and said that he graduated valedictorian of University of Georgia, where he played football and won the Heisman, and he's a legend in Georgia. The man did not graduate valedictorian of Georgia.
No, he did not.
He did not even graduate. He left and went pro.
Oh.
Some people want to say it's CTE and it's adorable or something like that, and some people say it's actually just Trump-like. You can just say whatever lie you want. I don't know.
Oh, those are my thoughts.
Disgust.
Would you like to talk about your boy Brett stealing money from the poor?
Woo! Sports and politics again. Like, Brett Favre was involved in a scandal in Mississippi, the poorest state in the union, where money from the Mississippi Welfare Fund, so that's the poorest people in the poor state who are supposed to be getting that money.
Wow.
He was involved in, more than $10 million going to, not welfare recipients. Some of that money was going to his alma mater, Southern Mississippi University, to build a new volleyball stadium for because his daughter plays volleyball there. Get him, T.
Shameful. People have gone to jail for a lot less. His reputation has been compromised for years. This is not shocking. His background has not been put on blast the way other players, for example, Terrell Owens' background had been put on blast. We heard about Michael Vick killing dogs for years? And yet I don't know that ESPN has even covered this story in a meaningful way. He has not been arrested. My understanding is that he worked with state officials of Mississippi to allow this transaction to occur. It is my understanding, based on text messages between him and other parties involved in this, they were fully and well aware of the fact that this was illegal. They were well aware of the fact of where this money was coming from, and no one batted an eye. And I'm wondering why the outrage about anti-patriotism that was directed at Cap for kneeling isn't directed at somebody who stole from the poor, who is worth over $200 million.
Not to mention, he's a legend in Mississippi. If you wanted to raise money for this thing, you could have just went and signed some doggone memorabilia and actually done some speeches. It turns out, in addition to this, he was also paid by the state for some speaking appearances where he never actually showed up and spoke. Okay,
that is correct.
Dude, he's got endorsement deals with Wrangler because, he's got this image of being, the rugged guy or whatever. You could have done some commercials, done some speaking engagements, signed some memorabilia, let somebody put on your Hall of Fame jacket, whatever. And you could have easily raised that money if it was really that meaningful to you. But instead, it was easier for you to go through the good old boy network. Do you think anyone will be held accountable for this?
Doubtful, highly unlikely.
Yeah, it seems like the governor could just pardon everybody, right?
He has the network and he has the resources.
Hmm.
Rich people don't go to jail.
Yeah.
Unless they rob from the rich.
Yeah. And if we think, oh, well, the Mississippi voters will hold these people accountable. Mississippi is one of those gerrymandered states out there. There's a large chunk of Mississippi that is black, but the Republicans control that state with an iron fist. There's a very small handful of Democrats in the Mississippi state legislature, and they have no power.
Shameful.